We all wanna change. We all wanna be somebody else. I wanna visit all the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs. I wanna make...
Welcome back to Desertwood Days. I am your host, Kathy Blaze, and I am here with Mr. T.A. Burrows. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Stage actor, impersonator, production, CEO of a production company. I'm sure there's more titles that I don't have listed here because I know that you are a busy man. T.A., you are a man with many talents. You professional singer, actor, author, and producer of Act Two Productions.
Yes, that's correct.
Out of all these areas of expertise, which holds key to your heart?
I would say that it's probably singing.
Singing.
It's the thing that I love to do the most. I think I get an opportunity to touch people in ways that I don't normally get to do, and the other things that I do. I mean, I love everything that I get to do. Being an actor is phenomenal. I started out my career as a stand-up comedian, but I think that singing for me is really the thing that I really pour myself into because I love to sing. I love to bring memories back for people. Yes. I love to be able to touch them with a song that may be special to them in some sort of way.
Awesome. I've been on stage with you before, and you are one of those theater actors that make everyone want to be top notch. Do you still find yourself learning something new with each performance?
Oh, yes, absolutely. No question about it. As an actor, I think that you feed off of the situation you're in, you feed off of the other actors that you're on stage with. I've had a chance to be on stage with you and a lot of other phenomenal actors and actresses. And I think that each time I'm on stage with somebody I haven't worked with before in particular, I learn something new. I see some trick of the trade that is like, I see how they're doing that. So maybe that's something that I can, kind of add to my bag of tricks and know how to do something else that I haven't done before. So it's always an experience. And of course, acting is also a love for me. So
what inspired you or whom inspired you to sing and act?
Well, my idol is Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh.
To me, he was the most versatile entertainer that we've ever known. A guy who could sing, who could do impressions, who could act. He did serious roles. He did comedy. He was just so versatile. He could dance, play instruments. So growing up in New York, I watched him on TV so often. And everything that he did just absolutely amazed me. And there were so many times I just kept looking at him and going, gosh, I want to do that. I want to do what he does. I want to do all of those things.
Wow.
And so as I started, getting into my entertainment career, I just felt like there was not just one thing I wanted to focus on, even though it was stand-up comedy that got me into the business. Once I got my feet firmly on the ground in that, I just wanted to branch out and learn as many different things as I could do.
Is there anyone else in the family that Performs as well?
My son.
Oh, okay.
Yes, my son is a rap performer. He does rap, performs in the Valley and throughout the Southwest.
Wonderful.
My mom was a phenomenal actress, even though she would tell you that she wasn't all that great, but she did a lot of different events and that kind of thing. And I kind of picked up a lot of it. Her sense of humor was amazing. So
right. So you got it watching mom and I'm sure other people around you performing. Yes. So it wasn't like this was just something that you just looked at on TV and said, oh, there's Sammy Davis.
No.
But it was always there.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about Act Two Productions. How did that come about?
Well, when I was doing stand-up comedy, I had a company called The Entertainer and Associates. I was booking myself and some other comedians to do comedy shows. We did comedy shows throughout the Southwest and throughout the Valley once I moved here to Phoenix. But when I started doing singing and I started putting together some musical kinds of shows, I kind of branched out from just doing, booking the comedians and did a lot more of that. And I have a partner. Her name is Lori Ellers.
Okay.
We became friends at work. and then in performing. And she's also an actress and a comedian, an extremely talented young lady. So we joined forces.
Okay.
And we decided that when we started our company, we called it Act Two Productions. And the reason for that is because both of us have completed Act One, which is getting married, which is growing up and raising a family, working your 9 to 5, all of the checking all the boxes of adult responsibilities. And once we've done that, now we're on to Act Two of our lives, where we get to enjoy the fruits of our labor and do what we love to do.
That's wonderful.
So that's why the company's called Act
I love
Two
the meaning
Productions.
behind that.
Mhm.
So how your children are all grown now. So how
Yes,
is
my
it
2 boys.
performing, being out on the road, out in the theaters? How did that affect your family?
Well,
growing up?
when I was before I actually got into doing this full time, I was in the military.
Okay.
I spent 21 years in the Air Force. As part of my time in the military, I was a military entertainer.
Oh,
And so I spent a lot of time on the road performing, and it was hard being away from my family.
yeah.
But my wife is just phenomenal, and she is, such a great mom and wife, and just a wonderful lady. And so she did a great job of keeping our family strong and keeping them together and keeping the kids going and in the right direction during my absence.
Wow.
Now that
I
I'm,
love the way your eyes lit up when you said
oh yeah,
mention your wife.
yeah, she's my heart.
Oh.
She's my rock.
TA, you mentioned Sammy earlier.
Mhm.
Well, he's one of your role models, someone that
My
you
idol.
really admired growing up.
Yes.
Can I get a little Sammy today?
Oh, hey, babe, it's no problem at all. A little Sammy just for you. Who can make a sunrise, sprinkle it with dew, cover it with chocolate and a miracle or two? The Candyman.
That was awesome. And you know what? And we don't have much room here, but you also dance also.
I do.
I've seen you do
Yes.
the whole acting, you're dancing and performing.
Mhm.
You know what? I sitting in the audience, you would really you could close your eyes. You just think that Sammy's really on stage.
Well, yes.
You
and
have perfected that so well.
I started out my career as an entertainer as an impressionist. So I started doing voices and learning to do that. And of course, Sammy was one that I certainly honed in on once I, got going. And in several of my shows, I perform as Sammy, and I do Mr. Bojangles, which is, the song that I remember him closing his show with. And so I use it quite frequently in some of my shows as well. And I get a chance to sing and dance.
Can we
which
get a little Mr.
love to do.
Bojangles?
Well,
I met a man, Bojangles, and he danced for you in worn-out shoes, silver hair, ragged shirt, baggy pants, the old soft shoe.
That is awesome. Earlier, I mentioned how you're one of the hardest working men I've seen. I know that with Act Two Productions being your production, you can schedule yourself any way you want.
yes.
And you are pretty much always booked up with your productions.
Absolutely. My focus over the last few years has been performing for a lot of the senior communities in the Valley because,
Okay.
in my mind, they're an underserved population.
Yeah.
So I get a chance to go out to a lot of those communities and bring a lot of the music that they remember back. I do everything from rock and roll to standards, jazz, songs from the Great American Songbook. I have 14 different one-man shows that I do
Wow.
under Act Two Productions. And this year, I have 143 shows on the books.
Wow. 143. That is awesome. Wow. Does your partner, is she performing at these acts also, or are these just yours?
Well, my partner also works a full-time job, which I don't. I'm retired now. So she doesn't perform with me as often as we used to. But she's, very instrumental in helping me put the shows together, in building them, in selecting music. And, when she has the opportunity, she comes on the road with me and, checks them out, make sure we're doing what we do for Act Two Productions.
Are you pretty much local, or are you out of state also?
I perform all over.
Oh.
The last couple of years have primarily been in Arizona, in the Valley, but also, throughout Arizona. So.
That is awesome. So where can our guests find T.A. Burrows?
Well, I have 2 websites, one of which is taburrows.com, and the other is act2productions.com, and that's all spelled out. So
Okay.
Yes, I'm also on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that we got T.A. Burrows and Act Two Productions.
Mm-hmm.
That's separate locations.
Yes.
You know what? I want to ask that you do something else for us before we close out of here.
All right. Well, as I mentioned, I started out my career as an impressionist.
Uh-huh.
So I think I'll do a couple of impressions. Two of my favorites that I always used to love to do. One of which was Howard Cosell, the great sportscaster, and of course, Howard Cosell's friend, Muhammad Ali.
Oh.
So this is Howard Cosell speaking of sports. Muhammad Ali was once the greatest heavyweight champ of all time, but Ali is great no more. The feet are no longer fast, the steps no longer quick. Give me that microphone, Howard Cosell. Howard Cosell, I'm tired of you talking about all the things I can't do. I still got my speed, I still got my zip, and when this fight is over, I'm gonna button your lip.
That is awesome. That is awesome. It was such a pleasure having you here today.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, Kathy.
Yes, I got my own personal show with Mr. T.A. Burrows today. Thank you for joining us today. We'll catch you next time on Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze.